I remember recently my friend told me a story about her when she was 13 years old, and she had a mother who was a physically large woman. And she told me this story about one afternoon her and her 13-year-old friends were going off to the pool, and her mum was the first person at the pool in her swimmers ready to go. And she realised that as a self-conscious 13-year-old girl, there was something different about her mum. So she says, Mum, how come you're the one here in your swimmers, ready to go at the pool, feeling confident, having a great time? And her mum said some words to her that totally changed her life. Her mum said, honey, this is who I am. Be true to you. And we live in a world where being true to you is sometimes hard, where being who you really are gets drowned out, gets pushed down, gets diluted, gets overshadowed by what we want to do, by being like them, by being like those people around us who we think are successful, who are the perfect parents, who are the perfect entrepreneurs, who are making the money that we want to make, and so we think we need to be just like them. Well, that's not always the case, because being just like them doesn't always work out. In 1917, the humble sneaker was mass-produced for the first time, and Converse produced the Converse All-Stars, which eventually became known as the Chuck Taylor All-Stars because he, a famous basketball player, endorsed them. They became known as the Chuck Taylor All-Stars because people wanted to be just like him. It then followed on the very next year in 1924, a German man named Adolf Dassler created a sneaker that he named after himself, Adidas. And in 1936, Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals at the Olympics. And because of that, wearing his Adidas shoes, people and kids alike rushed into the stores to buy these shoes because they wanted to be just like them. Sneakers became a fashion item. And in the mid-1950s, when James Dean wore sneakers on the movie Rebel Without a Cause, kids and adults rushed into stores alike because they wanted to be just like them. In 1984, Michael Jordan ramped up the sales in sneakers once again when he endorsed the Nike Air Jordans. And from then on in, people, kids and adults alike, rushed into stores, bought these shoes because they wanted to be just like them. More recently, Pharrell Williams partnered with Adidas to release the Superstars, the Super Shells, and what do you know? People and adults alike rushing into the stores to be just like them. In fact, one of Nike's key marketing strategies is to have the cool kid and the cool sportsman wearing their shoes, because if the cool kid and the cool sportsman wear them, then everybody will want to wear them, because we all know we want to be just like them. Well, here's what I know. Being just like them is something you were never destined to be. You are a wonderfully unique person. You are a unique mortal. You are a once-in-all-history event. And you were never supposed to be just like them. In fact, the most exhausting activity that you can engage in is trying to be someone else. That will take all of your energy and all of your effort. Judy Garland put it this way. She said, be a first-rate version of yourself, not a second-rate version of someone else. Be true to you. I read a quote the other day. It said, authenticity is the new black. And it's true, because authenticity never goes out of style. There is something magnetic about an authentic person. I find the people that I want to spend the most time with are those who know who they are, who have accepted who they are, and who give who they are as a gift to the people around them. Be true to you. One person wrote, be you, everybody else is taken. So how do you actually do this? How do you be true to you? Well, I think there's 3 things that you can do. Firstly, you need to discover who you are. You need to discover what makes you you. What are the things that come naturally to you that maybe other people say, oh, I could never do that. Discovering who you are is essential to being true to you. And if I think about my own life, I love the fact that I'm a firstborn child. I love the fact that I was born into an Aussie family. I love the fact that since a young age, I've been Miss Organisation. I can remember being 7 years old and I had a sheet in my middle drawer of the clothes that I would wear. And I used to write a list and tick it off. And nothing has changed. I mean, I love my OCD tendencies. Me and my label maker, we have a close relationship. In fact, Rowan, my husband, he says that if he sits still long enough, he gets labelled and put away. And that's handy sometimes. I love all things Italian. I mean, I love Italian culture. I love the Italian language. You should have seen me when I first started learning Italian. The label maker just went into overdrive, labelling everything. I love, of course, Italian food. And it was actually the one and only Lindsay Clark who introduced me to Italian olives for the first time. And for that, I am eternally grateful. But these are things about me. I love the fact that I followed my mum's footsteps to become a teacher. I love the fact that I am in the profession that teaches all other professions. I love the fact that I get to work with teachers and remind them that they are in the profession that teaches all other professions. Who are you? What makes you you? You need to discover who you are. Number 2, you need to delight in who you are. It's one thing to know what you're good at. It's one thing to know what works for you, but you've got to love it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to accept it. You've got to delight in who you are. And the 3rd way to be true to you is to develop who you are, is to take what you have and make it stronger. John Maxwell said we should spend 95% of our time developing our strengths and 5% of the time on our weaknesses. Take what you have, take what you excel in and make it stronger, amplify it. Our daughter, she's 5 years old, she started school this year, and we had the parent-teacher interview. And we walked in and we sat down and the teacher said, your daughter is an incredibly confident girl. She said she is a strong leader. She can lead kids, she can talk to adults, she tells the kids what to do. She is incredibly confident. And then she paused and then she looked at me and she said, and whatever you do, don't stamp that out of her. In other words, take what she is strong at and make it even stronger. Develop who you are. And the cool thing about being true to you is this. It's not a tick in the box, well, I've discovered it, I've delighted in it, and I've developed it, done. Now what do I do? No, this is a lifelong journey. This is when you discover and keep discovering. This is when you develop and keep developing. This is when you continue to delight in who you are and you get better and better and better at it. The best gift that you can give to yourself, to your partner, to your family, to your business, to your organisation and to this planet is for you to be you. To stop making excuses for who you are, to stop trying to be someone else, but to be you. And I conclude with the words of Dr. Seuss. He said, today you are you that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Be true to you. Thank you.
This has been another Metamorphic production.